Agent mode has been out for 1 week now, and it keeps surprising me how it can solve problems that I think are very difficult to solve. Today, I have a very simple question that came to me last Friday. A friend of mine said, can you teach me how to calculate percentages in Excel? First time for a formula for this person. So I turned on the video recorder. I recorded a short little 2.5-minute video, how to do the percentages and how to make a funnel chart. Sent that off. I said, check and see if you have agent mode. And there's a short that shows you the steps to check and see how you can get to agent mode in Excel Online. Now it turns out this person did not have agent mode, but I went to agent mode and I wrote a prompt and tried to build the exact same spreadsheet. In this video, you can use the table contents down below. You can watch my tutorial, and then you can watch what agent mode came up with. And then we'll come back at the end to see who won. You know, I've done this in the past, humans versus Copilot, and humans have won every single time. It might change today. Percentages and funnel chart 101. So we want to figure out 87,000 divided by 114,000, equal sign. That starts a formula here. Click on the smaller number, type the slash, that's divide, click on the larger number. Now what's really amazing about this formula is it's called a relative reference. Then when we copy it, what this formula is saying is take the number to the left of me, divided by the number to the left of me, and up 1. All right, so we're going to create a percentage out of this, 0.763. I click on the percent, and I have to decide, do I want to show that 1 decimal point? I'm a 1 decimal point kind of guy. I worked for a guy who was a 2 decimal point kind of guy, and I don't agree with that, but all right. Now here's the amazing thing. If we copy this down, that logic of the number to the left of me divided by the number just above me and to the left is going to keep on working. It's beautiful. However, probably, I'm guessing, it's not really what percentage of the people above me, it's what percentage of the people that showed up on the page. So this one's kind of crazy. So equal sign, click on the smaller number, divided by, and then click on the largest number, and then on your keyboard press the F4 key. And what that should do is put those dollar signs in. The $C, $4 says that we're always dividing by C4 no matter where we copy this to. Make that into a percentage. And we're going to put the decimal points in. And then as we copy this up, even into the top row. See, so this is the top row divided by the top row. But everything else is the current row divided by the top row. That's pretty cool. So that shows the percentage of the total. Okay, now for the funnel chart, we need short labels. These labels are just too long. So I'm going to right click here and say insert. That gives me a blank column. Let's have some short text. Something like that. And then to create the funnel chart, select the data like this, including the headings. On the insert tab, go to recommended charts. See, and they're actually suggesting a funnel for me, but they don't always do that. So you might have to go to all charts, choose funnel at second from the bottom, choose this, click OK. And other than the fact that you have a horrible chart title, you're good to go. First click on the chart title. If I start to type, this is percentage of web visitors. In the old days, you would be typing and you couldn't see what you were typing. It was appearing up here in the formula bar. So if you're typing and you can't see anything, look up in the formula bar right here. It's one of those annoying things. They fixed it, but maybe it's not fixed on the Mac. There you go, funnel charts. Okay, so let's compare that tutorial to just coming to Excel Labs. I'm in Excel Online. I went to add-ins and installed Excel Labs, came to Excel Labs and launched agent mode. And my prompt to agent mode, this was from a blank workbook, absolutely nothing in the workbook. I needed a way to visualize a sales funnel. I have 6 steps, and I listed the 6 steps. Build an input form where I can enter the raw numbers for each event. Add formulas that show what percentage of the number 1 item came to website is represented by the other 5 categories. Finally, add a funnel chart in bright colors to show the number of people in each category. And I pressed enter. All right, so they start out with some assumptions and a plan, and then walks through the step by step. Over on the left-hand side, you can see what they eventually came up with. So a sales funnel dashboard up here with a merge cell, and my fault, I didn't tell it not to merge cells, but in the other video I showed that we could fix that. A little emoji there. They have a list of step numbers and the stage, and then the count. Okay, now check this out. This is the one that actually, to me, blows me away, is that when I get to column C, they actually have a tooltip that's appearing that tells people what to do in that cell. Hey, that's a nice touch. I know how to do that. Data validation, go to the input tab. But the fact that they did it, like they're using OfficeScript.js to do this. I'm surprised that that is supported. Yeah, but they did it. And then percentages of site visitors, even though this is a table, they used A1 style referencing, which I think is great. So they get the input form and then built the sales funnel. This sales funnel looks so much better than my sales funnel. The different colors on each slice, I actually tried that and took it out of my video because I couldn't get it to work. That's funny, right? I've written a lot of books about Excel. I call myself Mr. Excel, and I'm getting my ass kicked by agent mode. Everything that we have over here, by the way, we can make this a lot wider. Everything that we have over here is going to disappear as soon as I do file save as. See, this is still book 65. So I'm going to lose all this. So I've gotten in the habit of copying it from the pane in agent mode and then pasting to Word. All right, you can see here that it took just under 5 minutes to create this. It is created 4.5 pages of documentation, which I think is great. You can see that they did verifications to make sure that the formulas are working. And I love this. Tweaks that I can add. Show the step-to-step conversion rates. So, how much of each step did we do, which is something that I had in mind, but probably wasn't that useful. Add conditional formatting to flag unusual dips. That's a great step. Add a target line or a goal comparison. Rename the table or just the color palette. And then if you want steps 1's percentages to remain 100% or be blank, I can switch it in one click. Like, all of these suggestions are really good suggestions. I like to say that this is like you have a new intern and you're explaining to the intern what to do, and the intern does it and then comes back with ideas of how to make your idea even better. Well, this is where I need your help because it's hard for me to be objective. Objectively, this chart is better than my chart, and that input tooltip is better than my chart. I spent a lot of time teaching someone how to fish, right? Including how the dollar signs work, how the F4 works. The robot has a better fish, but just handed the person the fish. Let's go take a look at the documentation that agent mode created. So over here, formulas and how they work, right? And it starts out with an R1C1 style formula, which it didn't use. And then down here shows the A1 style equivalent. Never explains what the dollar signs mean. Never explains how to get those dollar signs in, right? So if this person is ever going to build a workbook in the future not using agent mode, I think that my explanation probably wins, even though the final output from agent mode is better. I mean, that's nice to try and make me feel better, but I guess the fact is, why would they ever build a spreadsheet if they have agent mode in the future? Just go tell the agent what you want. It's a whole new world, isn't it? So down below in the YouTube comments, let me know what you think. If you actually watched my version versus the agent mode version, which is better? Maybe they're both better depending on the audience. Well, I want to thank you for stopping by. We'll see you next time for another netcast from Mr. Excel.